up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's having a much better day than I am right now. I'm filming this on Thursday night. So, if you guys saw Wednesday's video, if you haven't, go check it out, top right-hand corner. Or if you watch to the end of the outro, it'll be in the last video side of the outro. Me and the guys over the weekend discovered that my engine is pretty much in the beginning stages of death in terms of timing chain stuff. We are starting to experience some rattle. Very slight. It's on startup. It's actually been going on for several years, and I've always thought it was a part of the belt chatter, which is why I never was worried about it or anything. But we were able to finally track it down to the startup, at least being an actual timing chain rattle, which is very unfortunate and nerve-wracking. But yeah, that's that. We also discovered a couple of things, like the thermostat housing was getting ready to rupture again. It hasn't yet, so I went ahead and bought a metal one, which you guys will see the install video on next week at some point, probably Monday. And all that. So it's gonna be a fun little bit of time, but pretty much I did some calling around today to some shops. Only one was willing to work on the truck and was able to give me a price. Which I'll go into in a moment. I've called now 3 shops over this and had one shop in the past turn me around. Like I said, only one of them was actually willing to do the work and was willing to work with me on it and give me a price. One of the other ones didn't necessarily refuse, but didn't answer the phone to begin with for me to actually be able to do it with, to work out with. But I may wind up calling him again anyway. I've been trying not to bother the guy. So, yeah. So anyway, let's get into the whole story. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit wobbly and quiet right now. I'm very soft-spoken. I'm very tired, so I'm staying up really late to edit this and all that stuff. It's pretty much midnight. So let's go over everything. So let's start from square one. You guys saw Wednesday's video that the truck's starting to have some issues, and I wanted to kind of get it before it started, or get rid of those bugs before they started causing issues. The belt chatter will be pretty easy to track down once we can figure out what it is. I'm pretty sure it's a crank pulley, which is a very common issue in 4.0s apparently. So I decided that I was going to try to find a rebuild option, or at least do the chains, just to at least knock it out. And the first shop I called didn't answer the phone. Like I said, I called them on Monday, literally right after I filmed Wednesday's video. They didn't answer, so I decided to call a different shop today, which is a shop we've worked with for years on multiple cars. My mom's first Caravan, which no one's seen. On the channel at least, was worked on there several times. The Kia's been worked on there. You guys know my brother's car. The Mustang's even been worked on there. They've literally worked on every car but the Equinox and the truck. So, they pretty much said that they couldn't find any. They were the first people I called, and they said, much like everyone else in the owners group has, to just not bother putting chains in it, just go ahead and rebuild it or replace it. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what we can find. And he called up a few places. I called back a couple hours later with Hayden in the room, so he can attest to what was said and how much I wanted to just die a little bit inside. He pretty much said that it was going to cost around $4,500 to do this. Now, obviously, I had only planned on spending $2,500 because that was what I was told was the usual going rate to have it done. So obviously, I was a little bit shocked. I was I said the line, my disappointment is immeasurable, my day is ruined. I've said that a few times today because of this. Yeah, that was that. I've tried to say somebody hung the phone up on me, and that was that. So I decided to call on another shop, which Hayden recommended because he's had work done on the Genesis there. And had really good experiences with, as well as I believe they did something with one of our old friends' cars. And the guy answered the phone. I told him that I had a sport track, was having some timing chain issues, and I didn't specify the year, so I guess he may have been confused and thought it was a Gen 2 with a V8. And he was like, "Yeah, what motor's in it?" I was like, "Oh, the 4.0." And he's like, "Yeah, we don't work on those here." So I was like, "Oh, okay." He gave me this whole story about how he had a customer come in with some sort of 4.0 vehicle. He didn't specify which one, whether it was the Mustang, the Ranger, the Explorer, or the sport track. And was having timing chain issues. So he's like, okay, let's get that fixed. They replaced the chains, but due to how the chains are designed and the cassettes and tensioners are designed, metal shavings found their way into the internals and, as you can guess, caused some carnage. And 2 weeks later, the vehicle, I'm not specifying it was a truck, was blown up. So, yeah. Ever since then, that shop has refused to do work on Ford 4-liter V6s. It's now the second shop out of the 4 that I've called that have turned me away. There was another shop that I've talked to in the past, back when I was doing stuff with Boosted Mafia back in the day, who I asked about it, and they pretty much, yeah, I don't work on those. So I was like, okay, that sucks. And that's when I was first suspecting things were going on. When I first started suspecting, hey, there might be some time and chain issues popping up. And so at this point, I'm very stuck. I'm demoralized. I'm definitely second guessing, what the route is going to be for the truck. And this is actually the third take of this video. I filmed it once already in here and once earlier today, right after everything happened. And effectively, I have very little options. So let's start off with the one that a lot of people who aren't too upset that like the channel for me, not the truck, but for me. Obviously, my first option could be to jump ship, and at the amount of money that I have, getting rid of the truck, I wouldn't get a lot for it. I'd at most get like $2,000 for it in its current condition, which would put me in the ballpark of almost like something like the nicest sports car I could get would be a 350Z. Which I don't like VQs, but I don't mind the 350 as a car. I could get over the fact it's a VQ for a minute until I 2J swap the thing, or LS swap, whatever. Because that VQ would not stay inside of it if I got one. I could also, I could get a Miata, which I really wouldn't mind. I love Miatas. I can get a really nice one for about that kind of money. But but in the event that I couldn't do that, in my price range, the only cars I could afford is a Civic. An old Civic, not like a new 2015 up Civic, because I got flamed by Michael for that tonight about talking about getting one of these older Civics, because I actually really enjoy them. They're very cool cars to me. Sure, they're not the most modern and aggressive cars, but they are still very cool. They have plenty of aftermarket. They're very light and very fast when you do the right stuff to them. So, yeah, their reputation isn't really great because of ricers, but they're still really cool cars when done properly, and that's like the cool part about Civics. I wasn't too upset about that, and obviously that would be a very good choice to jump ship to if I decided to go that route, which I'm not going to, due to multiple reasons I've talked about in the past. Insurance and stuff of that nature would just skyrocket, because I actually, ironically enough, despite the insurance trackers and the fact I have one of the worst lead foots in the family, I actually have the cheapest insurance out of all of us, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, there's just so many aspects of things that would just be headaches to jump through. Obviously, there would also be on the channel side of things. Views and subscriber growth and all that stuff. I'd probably lose subscribers if I jumped to a Civic, because most of you guys that are subscribed to the channel care more about the Sport Track than most of the content that I output that aren't Sport Track related. So it does make it rather hard to justify the jump, because it would possibly kill my channel. And while I'm not making money off the channel, it is something I love and I take very serious. So that's why I'm very careful about what I do when it comes to car stuff here. That's why I've really second guessed getting rid of the truck twice, is because you guys are here for the truck. It's not like I know a lot of you guys are here for my personality. You guys like my content, like how I act in videos and stuff like that. But it makes it really hard to jump ship, because I'm afraid of those people that aren't here because of my personality, but are here because of the truck itself. So obviously that's always a big issue for me. It's a big issue. It's been a huge issue for me to contemplate. So some of our other options. Option number 2, I stop cold turkey. No more mods to the truck. None of my stuff that I have goes on, and I try to squeeze content out as much as I can until I can replace the truck with more money to get something a little bit nicer, something like a 350Z. If I have, that's like the best thing I can get. Or I can maybe even set it to closer to like 10, 12 grand, and look into getting either, something crazy like a rebuilt Title Cobra or a GTO, one of my dream cars right now. I know from a content standpoint, again, it wouldn't do very well. Obviously the truck would still be around, which I know a lot of you guys would really enjoy, getting to still see the truck. But obviously the content issues would be, I'm not doing anything to it. So, my other idea, my last option, and this is the one I really think I'm going to wind up going with, is enjoy it while I have it. Install everything that I have on it. My new metal thermostat housing that just came in today for it. My exhaust setup, my short tube headers, my X-pipe, and my MagnaFlow race mufflers that I literally just got. As well as, a couple other little things, a couple little bits and bobs here, my headlights. and possibly start working on building an engine for the truck myself. You know, possibly either a new 4.0 or a Windsor of some sort, which I think would probably be the route I'll go. Is I'll probably get an engine hoist and start small with a Windsor block, because it'll be the easiest engine for me to build. My dad doesn't even want in on this project. This will be me completely myself. I'll be the one who's building this engine. So it'd be great for content. It'd be great for the truck, because that means eventually I'll be able to put the 5.0 in it. I'll be able to have, you know, a beast of a truck. I could probably run 9s with the Windsor in the truck if I wanted to. I don't think that's going to be the route I go, because I'll probably either throw a Paxton on it, or I'll use my KO4 turbo that I have lying out in the garage on there, and, you know, let it rip. So that's that right now as it stands. So like I said, my third option, which is enjoy it while I have it, still do mods to it, but nothing crazy. That way, if it does blow up and I do wind up getting rid of it, I won't be out too much money. I do want to enjoy it. I do want to try to enjoy it as much as I can right now, and that's the hard part. Is it's going to be hard, because they're you know, hearing the timing chain rattle and stuff like that is going to be, you know, discouraging. But I'm going to do my best to enjoy it while I can for you guys as well as myself, and we're going to try to make the best of the situation. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed. New videos will be out next week on the thermostat housing. We're working towards trying to get everything set up, because the truck will be at Import Alliance this year. So I'm happy to announce that now, because since we're not putting the truck in the shop for an engine build, the truck will be at Import Alliance, which means I need to get my infield pass soon before they get sold out. So if you guys are going to Import Alliance in Atlanta, come check it out. The truck will be there. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe for more content coming soon. We're going to try to get hyped up for the next video, because I don't like being down in the dumps like this. It sucks. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.